we now segue to the creative currency as part of our arts and cultures pillar. The global creative economy is valued at around almost $2 trillion, yet many creatives find it hard to balance their creative fulfillment with the need to earn a living or the possibilities that entrepreneurship can bring to them. So how can today's artists, fashion designers, and publishers contribute to society, surface their talent, and build a flourishing career from creativity? Joining me on stage to explain is the return of artist Taim Mashat and very welcome additions, AI Creative Director Mohannad Hussam and art business expert Laura Pei. Firstly, thank you all for being with us here today. I think what makes this panel very exciting is that all of you come from completely different pathways. We have publishing, AI, generic art or driven art, and then visual artists. But at the same time, all of you are coming together to shape the future of creativity. And I want to begin by grounding ourselves in what this creative shift really means. So in your view, what does creative currency mean today for young creators in the region? And what opportunities should they really be looking at?
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me. I guess I'm going to go first. Well, since I'm the AI guy, you guys need to look up into AI and don't be scared, to explore how can it basically amplify your career in the creative industry.
Yeah, for me, I would say definitely think outside the box and look outside your bubble. For example, Saudi Arabia is a very big country. You have all the resources that you need here, but it's also important to interact with people of other cultures, of other backgrounds, and look outside your country. Because when you interact with the unexpected, that's normally when the most creative ideas come about.
Can I borrow it for now? Good evening. I feel like now the right pathway to take is to distinguish yourself from everybody else, because uniqueness matters nowadays. People are looking for new projects and things that haven't been done before, and that's always how it's been and how it will continue to be. That's the base, I feel.
Okay, I love how you bring in the uniqueness and having your own identity, because that brings me into my next question, which is for you, Taim. You're part of a new wave of Saudi creatives using art to express identity and emotion. So how do you see your generation redefining what it means to be an artist in today's Saudi Arabia?
I feel like this is such an important question to be asked, especially to someone my age and in my generation. The end of Generation Z and the start of Generation Alpha, I feel, grew up in a time of rapid cultural change, and we naturally found ourselves in art, whether it be through art in music or painting, but we just found art as a safe space to experiment freely. And I feel like now the role of the artist has changed, especially being a Saudi artist. It's more about participating in a wider conversation about what Saudi art can look like, and widening the perspective of Saudi art and not limiting it to calligraphic mediums or traditional styles of art. And that's the uniqueness I'm trying to bring to the table nowadays.
Yeah, and I really like how you brought that up, because I feel like for many of us, it's a stereotype to think of art purely as painting or just doing sculptures. It's very, put into a certain box where it's like, no, there's so many different forms of art that we don't even take into consideration. Like we have here Laura publishing cinnamon art. She has a cinnamon art publishing. Yeah. Okay, and then we have Mohannad is AI-driven art. So it's not very much put into a box, but it's very broad.
Yeah, I believe so. And I believe like now I'm the bad guy who comes to convince you AI is good, it's not going to take your job, So AI helped me a lot to amplify basically my to create my new identity, because with the accumulation of 20 years in the creative industry, AI managed to give me basically the tools that I needed basically to tell my story, to tell basically our Arabic heritage, to the people who didn't explore it yet, through the modern lens of AI.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And going back, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think adding to that, I think you need to because Mohannad spoke about storytelling, and there's been a lot of sessions today, which emphasize building a good story, having strong impact. But I think before you start anything, you need to know your purpose, and you need to find your passion, and that also comes with life experience. So I think that's very important to remember. All of us here are very privileged, so try to get as many different experiences as you can. But also before you start anything, make sure you have a strong purpose and make sure you do it for the right reasons as well.
Very well said. I always hear this all the time where it's like, never do anything that you don't feel passionate about, because you're never going to reach an end result. So I really like that point. Going back to what you said, Mohannad, about how we don't want to see AI as a horrible thing. We actually talked about this a little bit earlier, but I want to ask about how, since AI is changing how art is imagined, produced, and shared, from your perspective, how can young creatives embrace AI to enhance the art that they're doing and the work that they're doing, rather than seeing it as a competitor?
Basically, you need to shift the mindset, other than you're thinking of it like it's the competitor, or basically the Terminator or the Matrix that's gonna come take your job, or basically use you as an energy source. You need to think of it as a creative partner. And instead of you, for example, like as a traditional artist, instead of you basically trying to explore like 3 times, through the week, now with AI you can explore ideas like in one day,
Yeah.
So it's a very great, especially now it's like every single day there is a new update, there is a new thing that's going to help artists to tell a new story. And the democratization that AI basically implied on the people, basically, let's say before AI they couldn't let's say tell about their story. Now they have the platform, like they can do it as easily as the 8 years old who can do a Ghibli image.
Okay, and what platforms or tools do you recommend to young artists to let them start exploring?
Well, now, other than ChatGPT, of course, we can go with there is a free pick. It's all the AI platforms is compiled there. You can just start with there.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, now going to you a little bit, Laura. You attended Sotheby's, I hope I'm not saying that wrong, Sotheby's Institute, which set you on course as an art collector and advisor with a focus on socially engaged contemporary art from the Middle East. So what draws you to this region's creative energy, and what do you think sets it apart?
So for me, I love traveling, and I've been really blessed to be able to travel all around the world to look at art, to exhibitions, biennales. And what I noticed in the past 5 years was that international curators, they travel a lot, so they know which are the good artists, and they include a lot of, I don't like to use the word Middle East actually, because it's like a colonial term. So we use the word West Asia. So a lot of artists from this region were being included in the biennales, and that is how I became interested in exploring the region. So it was by seeing these artists in the top institutions in Berlin, in Paris, in London that made me curious about the region. And only last year, in April last year, I had the chance to visit the Emirates for the first time. It was my first time in any Arab country. And I was just really impressed with what I saw there, with the infrastructure, the institutions, the residencies that were there. And that's when I realized, there's so much cultural investment being planted by the governments, especially in the GCC, but also the other Arab countries like Tunisia and Egypt. They have very good programs as well. And I think what Saudi Arabia has that the other countries don't have is that the government really is the trust the government has in their people, and the tools that the government is providing for the people to use, which is actually very rare, and we don't really see it in a lot of other countries. So I think that's really something that that everyone should use, and that's also where I see the potential is when the artists from Saudi Arabia have the experience to see what other top artists around the world are doing, and using the knowledge to be able to create their own work. I think that's where we can see really good art coming out.
Yeah, and we have Taim, the young Saudi artist, here to learn from. Also, I just say that Taim, 2 sessions ago, moderated a panel with Matthew Lunn, which makes him one of the youngest moderators in MGF. So please, a round of applause for Matthew. For Taim, amazing work.
Thank you so much.
Not only talented as an artist, but talented on stage. So that's really impressive.
Thank you so much.
Going to you, how do you personally balance staying true to your artistic voice with making your work also sustainable as a career?
Let me begin by saying that I don't see art as a sustainable career, at least not the way I treat art. As Taim Mashat, I only produce art when I have emotions that I want to convey to my audience, and I do it for the sole purpose of self-expression. And I feel art only becomes a commercial thing once art becomes a sustainable thing only once it's commercial. And I'm not a machine. I'm not just doing output, output, output. I really take thought and time into my pieces, so I also stay true to my artistic voice through that, and also filter all my pieces through that sense of direction.
That's very inspiring words of wisdom, honestly. And I know that, Laura, you studied art business. So I actually want your intake on this. Do you agree with what Taim says, or do you have a different view on it, that maybe people don't see art or the artistic view as a sustainable career because they just don't understand the business aspect of it?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of conversation around the world about this topic today. But I'm actually very happy and impressed with Taim's answer, because I think I think the purity of the artist is very important, and that we always say to be a true artist, whether you're a filmmaker or visual artist or a poet or writer, is like you never think commercially. Because once you start thinking commercially, the soul of your work is gone, and that's where I think the intermediaries come in, the middle managers, the curators, the artist studio managers, the auction houses. That's where they come in, and they're here. They're all very important players in the whole ecosystem, the whole creative ecosystem. So I think it's important to also engage with them and to use them so that you can fully focus on your work.
Yeah, or at least, find a balance, because I feel like once it becomes completely commercial and you lose your passion for it, then what's the point, really? But yeah, really good insights. Okay, now, Mohannad, how does your work in AI differ from the generic view of arts, like painters and sculptors? How do you feel your work in AI differs creatively from what other artists do? And is it purely in terms of technique, or is it in ideas or artistic success as well?
Well, I would say I got the best of both worlds, the technical side with the whole AI and the prompting and the tools using AI, and the accumulation of 20 years plus in the creative industry in animation, movies, and games. So basically, as I said, AI helped me to speak basically the language, of the 20 years that I learned the alphabetics. I feed it to AI, and basically get with these results that helped me to create my own identity. You don't see the cat videos, that I do or something like that. So yeah, they always go, oh yeah, this is Mohannad's style. And by the way, if I may add something, the picture that you see here, it's AI generated, by the way. It's not real. This is me, this is not me.
The amount of work that he showed us before this session of it being completely AI surprised me, because it's genuinely insane how you don't realize if this is AI generated or not. So honestly, very impressive work. I think you guys should all look into it.
I'm open for hiring, by the way.
But yeah, I love that way of thinking about it. Now, Laura, you continued working in galleries in London and Hong Kong, but you started a publishing business instead. So how does Cinnamon Art Publishing fit into the wider creative ecosystem? And what might young people here today learn from you about creating a career in arts without necessarily being an artist?
Yeah, for me, I think it went through. I went through a lot of experimentation in my life, so I realized very quickly. I mean, and I tried, over different points of my life to create art. But I realized that I'm just not a creator. But I have a lot of ideas, and I need to realize the ideas. But I can't actually make those ideas come to life without creators. So I realized that I'm more of just an ideas person. And I think, so for me, my background is all in arts and culture. So I studied music as a first degree, and then I switched to art history, and then I went to art business, and now I'm in the literary arts. So all within the arts and culture sector. And there's actually a lot of connection between all the different genres of art. And I think when I started Cinnamon Art Publishing, it was my COVID passion project. So it just happened by chance. So I was working in a gallery in Hong Kong, and then COVID happened, the quarantines happened, the lockdown happened. So I decided to move back to Singapore. And then I had time, and it was the lockdown. So I decided, okay, I really want to do, there were 3 things I wanted to do. I wanted an educational company that would benefit the next generation. I wanted to use my background in arts and culture. And for me, it was important to have something physical, something that you can touch, just because I like the physicality of things. So I thought, okay, a children's publishing house would be a nice idea, and it's fun, it's cute, and it benefits the next generation. So that's how I started with Cinnamon Art Publishing. And I think it's very important not to plan too much and to always be open to changes, because when I started Cinnamon, I kind of thought of it like a startup. I had my 5-year plan. I had this whole list of projects that I wanted to do, who I wanted to collaborate with, how many people I wanted to hire, that kind of thing. But of course, none of it worked, or none of it went to plan. And I think the most exciting thing about having your own business and having your own company is that you never know what can happen. So a lot of the collaborations and even how I came to the GCC is because I just left everything to chance, and I was always open to new opportunities, to talking to new people, and to accepting new ideas and new cultures.
That's so amazing and very inspiring. And highlighting the point where you said you were very open, because I feel like so many people, without realizing, have like a specific just straight goals and views of how they want their life to work, and if it doesn't go the way that you want, you fall into some type of depression where it's like, where's the fun in that? You have to be open to new ideas. You have to be open to new things that can happen, because there's always something that's written better than what you planned. So I really like that point. Now going back to Mohannad.
Tala.
Yes. How can technology help young artists from the region share authentic stories and build global audiences without losing their cultural identity? And what skills or mindsets should artists develop today to stay relevant?
First, I would start with the mindset that if you think you're like, nobody can learn something they think they know, because if they think that they're right, they're not going to learn anything. They need to be open. And actually, at this stage, Survivor is not about being the smartest or the very artist. You need to be adaptable. This is the only thing. If I need to leave you guys with one thing, you need to be adaptable. You need to be open to the possibilities, because there is every single day there is an update. If you believe in the old mindset, I'm sorry, you fall behind. So all I'm saying, even for the young guys, start learning. Now it's easier than ever. Like before, I started in 20 years, I was waiting for YouTube to load so I could see, the tutorial. Now with AI, it's just if you say you don't know, it's on you,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my answer.
Taim's generation has it the easiest. They have everything available at the brink of your hands. So you, Taim, you just told me earlier that you just started recently publishing your art. And I feel like many young people feel intimidated by entering the art world. So what simple first steps can they take to start sharing their creativity with confidence?
I feel like it's key to begin with consistency over perfection the first time. Because let's face it, and this is really the beauty of art, that it's not that a piece is not going to turn out 100% the way you wanted it to at the start. And it never will be like that, no matter how good an artist you are. And to really take that first step to jump into the art scene is doing something simple like visiting a local exhibition, because no matter where you go, you're going to gain artistic knowledge which you can use in your pieces to enhance them. And it's really a small touch that means a lot, because once you know about art, you can improve your pieces. And to someone my age, if I were to give advice, I'd always say to connect with young creatives, because they're also the most understanding and relatable. They sort of understand your vision as well.
I'm still so baffled that you have all this wisdom at this age. Yeah, mashallah, tabarakallah. It's very, very impressive.
Thank you.
Very well said. Couldn't have said it better. Now, I want to ask a question to each of you, actually. I want to know if what you guys think are the biggest gaps you see in the creative ecosystem today, whether it's budgeting or funding or skills or access or mindset. What can young creators do to start, filling in that gap?
Okay, I'll start. I think especially within the context of Saudi Arabia or the GCC, funding is not an issue. Opportunities are plenty, so resources is not an issue. I think it's more of time. So everyone has. Okay, so your dreams are not limited, but your time is limited. Everyone has the same amount of time a day, and I think it's knowing how to allocate and prioritize your time, because for artists, I think it's very important to have the knowledge exchange and to engage with other people and to see the world, to watch videos, to read about other people's art, to read books. And I think we often don't have enough time to do that. So I think that's the biggest challenge is, finding enough time and allocating your priorities in order to grow and to do something better than what you can right now.
Amazing.
If I would answer it the other way around. It's not about the young creators. It's about us to have platforms like Misk Foundation, what they're doing, showing examples that actually, yes, this can happen. We're not talking in theory. And especially, like I would say, with my AI experience, it's a new thing, so it's not much information. I would say that, it's scary. You don't need to go to college to know these kind of stuff. So I would say, like, it's gonna be like from the governmental side to make platforms so artists and like ourselves, be an example for the generation to see, yes, we can do that, and it's not like somebody from outer space or in theory.
Very well said.
I feel like one of the issues is that maybe some people are maybe shy to take that first step, and I've already mentioned some simple steps that you can do some simple measures that you can do to achieve the goal that you want. And maybe some people have lost their potential because they're just maybe too shy, or maybe fear of being evaluated by their audience, or not sure how to begin, and maybe they're focusing too much on the, income side of it and how they're going to make it a sustainable career. But like you said as well, the quote, do it because you're passionate about it, not focusing on the economic side of it, because if you're passionate, that will come as well.
Amazing. Okay, since we're running out of time, I just want each of you to let the audience know about one key takeaway that you want them to walk away with tonight.
I would start with just trust the process. The result is not going to come. Just trust the process. That's it. This is all I have. I can't cover for you guys.
I would say just do it. You have to take the first step. Don't be afraid. Whether you succeed or you fail, you have to take the first step. So don't waste time, and just do what you want to do.
One thing I'd say is keep your uniqueness, because you need to prioritize your creativity, because this is what's brought me this far and what will continue to make me develop, and this can happen to many other people as well.
Very well said. Now, if it's one thing we're taking away from today, it's that creativity is a powerful currency, not just for expression, but for building futures, for shaping cultures, and telling our stories to the world. So our speakers showed us that you can stay authentic, embrace technology, and still build a career that matters. Thank you to our amazing panelists, and thank you all for being with us here today. Thank you again to Taim, Mohannad, and Laura for the creative input. And that's a wrap for day one at Al Majlis of the Misk Global Forum 2025. Thank you to all of our speakers and moderators. And thank you all for attending. We really hope you enjoyed the sessions. And one of my highlights were when it's very important. When we realize that it's very important to have inspiration and motivation, especially on your darkest days. And what about you?
And one of my biggest highlights of today is, in a world full of complex challenges, it's not only about navigating through challenges, but also leveraging them. And guess what? The other side of that coin of challenge, it's an opportunity that you should seek. So please, post your best bets on your preferred social platforms using hashtag MGF25. We are back here on Al Majlis tomorrow at 2 p.m., where we have another full roster of captivating talks, including how adopting a fearless mindset can change your fortunes, and how using AI can change your world, and how environmental entrepreneurship can save the planet. They are not to be missed. See you then.